Are you in need of some peace? Is your world disrupted? Do you feel like you're in the middle of a stormy time? If so, I think I've got a good word for you today, taken right out of the Gospel of John. We're reminding ourselves as we journey through the Gospel of John that truly you are never alone. You're never alone. And sometimes we feel that we are. And when we are, we need to turn back to the promises of God. And one of those promises is the promise of peace. The promise of peace. I think I can do this one in 8 minutes. So if you have 8 minutes, I hope you'll join me as we open our Bibles to John chapter 14. But if you don't have the time or if you don't have the interest, please, no worries. If you have any prayer needs, post them right there on the page before you slip out. We'll do our best to pray for you. You know, when mariners describe a tempest that no sailor can escape, you know what they call it? They call it a perfect storm. Not perfect in the sense of ideal, but perfect in the sense of combining factors. All the elements such as hurricane force winds, thunderstorms, cold front, downpour of rain, all those elements work together to create the insurmountable disaster, the perfect storm. The winds alone would be a challenge, but the winds plus the cold, plus the rain, the perfect recipe for disaster. Now, you don't have to be a fisherman to experience a perfect storm. All you need is a combining set of factors, a layoff plus a recession, a pandemic plus a job transfer, a breakup plus college rejection. You can handle one challenge, but 2 or 3 or 4 at a time, one wave after another, one gale force followed by thunderstorms. I mean, it's just enough to make you wonder, will I really survive the storm? Well, the good news is Jesus left us with a promise, an answer. He says this, "Peace I'll leave with you. My peace I give you. I give you not as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." What a precious promise in John 14 and verse 27. No, this is not a peace from Jesus. It is the very peace of Jesus. My peace I give you. This kind of peace is not a human achievement, folks. This is a gift. It is a grace from above. Jesus graces us with his vintage of peace, the peace that calmed him, calms us, the peace that calmed his heart when he was falsely accused, the peace that steadied his voice when he spoke to Pilate, the peace that calmed him, that kept his thoughts clear and heart pure as he hung on the cross. This was his peace. And friend, this can be your peace. This peace, according to the book of Philippians, guards our hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. That's in Philippians chapter 4 and verse 7. In other words, God takes responsibility for the hearts and minds of his children, of those who believe in him. And he downloads tranquility, the peace of Christ. He downloads tranquility from the throne room into our world, resulting in a peace that passes understanding, an inexplicable calm. We should be worried, but we aren't. We should be upset, but we're comforted. Can you relate to this? The peace of God. It's a peace of God that transcends all logic, scheming, and efforts to explain it. Have you experienced this? If so, say something right there on the page. This is peace. Peace in the middle of the storm, because you're not alone. You belong to God. And because of that, you can talk to God. You see, the path to peace is always paved with prayer. Say that real quick. The path to peace is always paved with prayer. Take your problems to Christ in prayer. Don't stew about something. Pray about everything and remind him of his promises. The Old Testament prophet Isaiah said, "Put the Lord in remembrance. Put the Lord in remembrance of his promises. Keep not silence." That's in Isaiah 62 and verse 6. And God told Isaiah, put me in remembrance. Let us contend together. Isaiah 43 in verse 26. You see, God invites you. Yes, He commands you. Remind Him of His promises. So populate your prayer with, you said, you said, you said, you said you would walk me through the waters. You said that you would guide me through the valley of the shadow of death. You said you would lead me through the difficult times and meet me in the middle of the storms. You said that you would never, ever leave me and that you would never forsake me. You stand on these promises, not because God needs to hear them, but because you need to declare them, and Satan needs to know that you know them. So find a promise that fits your problem and wrap a prayer around it. And these prayers of faith, friend, touch the heart of God, and they activate the angels of heaven, and miracles are set into motion. Your answer may not come overnight, but it will come, and it may come overnight. But you will overcome. You will. Again, the path to peace is paved with prayer. So folks, less consternation, more supplication. Fewer anxious thoughts, more prayer-filled thoughts. And as you pray, the peace of God will guard your heart and mind. Friend, remember, God is closer to you than you can ever imagine. You're never alone. Never alone. You've never lived one unloved day, and God is with you today to give you the peace of God. May you receive it.